Hey dear Tyler, good morning. I hope you're good. So I'm recording this Sunday. This is like 3:30 a.m. I have a trip to Kano today, God administration, and I'll be back tomorrow. But it's going to be another long journey, and I won't be able to, release an episode for that tomorrow in time, and I want to be able to ensure that I keep up with the episodes as much as possible. So I'm just recording this, and then it should be released on Monday, right, by God's grace and everything. So it's been a while that I've been to Kano. I think maybe 2-3 years. Really excited about it, and I know that God will be glorified in everything. So I do have, some topics that I've lined out, but for today I'll still go in the same route that I've gone for in a while. Just sharing thoughts and really stemming from experiences that I've had recently. And I do hope it blesses you. I don't know how long this episode is going to be. Probably it's going to be one of the shortest, right? Because I need to go back to trying to get ready for my trip. I've realized how intentional God is. How intentional God is about everything in our lives. But I believe the realization of God's intentionality occurs when we become intentional about certain things, right? When we begin to put things in place, when we sincerely, have a heart towards pursuing something, pursuing a goal, pursuing a particular dream, an aspiration. Somehow God in His infinite wisdom begins to orchestrate every other thing to happen. And I don't think that God had been silent, all of those times where we were like in the valley of indecision and all of that. I don't believe that. I believe that the subtle nudges that we usually get, towards taking certain steps was a move by the Spirit of God leading us into a place of His supernatural supply, right? I've come to that conclusion because a lot of things have occurred for me recently, and they've just been mind-blowing. They've just really been mind-blowing. I'm undergoing a particular music project, and it's been a long time coming. I know that I, as an individual, have had to go through certain seasons of pruning, seasons of, heart checks, figuring out my motive, the motive behind my actions, making sure that I'm driven by something that is pure and not just a pursuit for recognition or not to feel left out, from all of the other, things happening in the music worship world, if I could say that, right? And so I know that I've had to go through, a lot of those seasons, and I'm grateful to God for them because they have fashioned me into the kind of minister that I am at this time. But I will not also deny that the season shouldn't have lasted this long. The season shouldn't have lasted this long, whether for reasons of fear, whether for reasons of doubt, the whole uncertainty around it, questioning myself, questioning my gift, questioning my uniqueness and my value, wondering whether God would be true to His word, and all of that. I don't believe that the season should have been this long, that there were certain things that I had stretched because, or there are certain things that stretched because I had refused to take up the mandate to take up the initiative, and allow God show himself faithful in my life, right? And I'll give an example. So last year during my birthday was the first time that I agreed in my heart to host a meeting. And I'd written, over the years I'd written a lot of things in my journal, written a lot of things as a vision and a plan, to be able to host a meeting, to be able to share my heart, share my songs and everything. So it was last year that I took it serious. I was like, okay, I was going to do it. And 2 weeks to the day, I didn't have like a single dime. I'd not gotten the resources for the venue and all of that. But what I did was, I think way earlier, when I made the decision to do the work, when I made the decision to handle that particular project, I just sent invitations to a few people and said, okay, I'm planning this. Please, if you're going to be around, do let me know so that I can, capture you into the plans and everything. So 2 weeks to it, I, was already thinking of, canceling it because I'd not paid for the venue, I'd not settled anything, and just go for a meeting. And one of my friends reaches out to me, and I think I shared this in the birthday story, one of the older episodes, but I just needed to put it in for context for what I'm about to say. One of my friends meets me and she asks, and she's like, been how far with the preparations and everything? And I was like, to be fair, I'm not sure I'm really preparing. And she was like, what happened? I said, I'm still like battling a lot of payments. I've not even settled the venue as of now. I don't even have like the money for it. And she looks at me, she's like, like really? That the venue people didn't tell you that I've already sorted out the venue for you. I was like, I don't get it. And she said, that when you sent me the invitation, I was like, let this be my contribution to it, and sorted out the venue. So while I was worrying about the venue, and all of that, God had already placed it in the heart of somebody to offset that for me, right? Now, that person would not have gotten the opportunity to do that if I had not moved with that invitation. I don't know if we get right. Really understand where I'm heading to now. That there was somebody that was willing to be a blessing to me if they found a spot to be a blessing to me. But as long as there was nothing for them to bless, they were inactive. And I'm sure from her side, she was just like, maybe it's not one of the things that Bingo wants to do. But I know that whenever Bingo wants to do it, I'm willing to support to that level. There are lots of times that, in more cases than not, right, you'd never really know your helpers. And they're there, they're around. But there was something that they were tasked to help. And I think about it a lot, marriage-wise. Whenever I read that scripture, that I'll create a help meet for him. I've always read that help meet part a little different. So, for many people, when they read that portion of scripture, they read it like one word, like help meet is a title, right? So you are help meet for your man, help me for this, help me for that. but I've read it as two separate words, right? So, and I believe that they are two separate words. So, I read it as help, meet for me. So it's like this person's ministry is to help, and the help that they are rendering is English. The help that they are rendering is exactly what I need. It meets the standard of what I was created to do. Right? It's an exact, it's an exact standard. Right? It's the perfect fit. But if I do not create something for them to meet, if I do not build a need for them to meet, there is no place for them to help. If I do not create a need for them to meet, there's no place for them to help. So as long as I remain without a vision, without a purpose, without a plan, without something going on in my life, there's nothing that she would be able to come in to help. Right? So, and I take that into consideration into a larger scope too. Not to belittle marriage or anything, I'm just trying to say that outside of the concept of relationships and marriage, I believe that that's how helpers too are activated. Helpers are activated when we learn to respond to God's instructions. When we learn to respond to God's instructions. And a lot of other things happened during that birthday. I didn't have, my last birthday, I didn't have the resources for almost anything. But the moment I moved to God's instruction, people started coming through. Somebody came in through with the drinks. Someone paid for another set of drinks. Some little snacks here and there. It was amazing. And I left that birthday without spending a dime. Literally without spending a dime. Now, this is not a call to your responsibility and all of that, but I said no. That truly, when you respond to God, right, it's when you get to see the activation of destiny helpers in your life. Now, I'm working on like 4 music projects now, and I started feeling that nudge towards the end of last year, so I started, singing more, sharing more of my songs and everything. And during the break, when I was having my retreat, I wrote down a set of plans, and I told certain people in my life that I was going to send them a draft of my music plans and everything. Now, I'm going to keep their names private for a reason. I believe that when they hear this episode, they'll know they're the ones. I just don't want the whole pressure of, okay, these are the people that did it, for you and everything, but I don't want that. So when I met them, I told them that, okay, I was going to do this, I was going to send it to them. And the reason why I did that was, I know how easy it is for me to back out of a decision, right? Second guessing myself and all. But when I'm able to share this particular vision with people, and especially people who not just love me, but also hold me accountable, right? They would ensure that I do not fall back on what I said I was going to do. So I wrote down the plans, as expensive as they were. I wrote down the plans, met the people, spoke with them, did all of that. And I said, that irrespective of whether I have the resources or not for it, at least I've written it down, I prayed about it, and then once I was done doing the whole editing, pricing and all, I just sent it to them and I was like, I'm sending it to you because of some various reasons and all. And I want you to hold me accountable to it. So, within that period, I somehow got the resources to start up some of the songs that I wanted to do. But then my car started giving me issues. And most of the money that I had gotten to do the music work, I had to use it into fixing the car. Now, but I told myself something. I said I wasn't going to approach anybody with this dream of mine until I'd put something in place, something beyond just the paper, something written down. I wanted the plan to, be in motion. And so even in the heat of the whole experience of the car, I made the payment for the song. So I've started recording one of the songs, and hopefully to be out soon. And I shared it with, people. Just for me to have, a call conversation a few days ago, and, we're just talking about it. And then there's one of the songs that's particularly expensive. And they're like, oh no, that they're going to offset the bill for that for me. And we would work on, other projects, let's go like that. But we have to move up the timeline, and be a little bit more deliberate. Yes, it's a bit more deliberate. And I was just, in shock, because it's not a small contribution. And especially in times like this, it's not a small contribution that they're giving. And, after the call, I just sat down, thinking about everything. And I was like, God, you're faithful. Truly. When Apostle used to tell us, he said, favor needs an address. Favor needs an address. If you obtain favor from the Lord, even as a wife, it's because she has an address where she can locate you, and all of that. I don't know why I'm using the whole wife thing, but yes, pray for me. But favor needs an address. They need something. Favor needs a place to rest. Now, I'm trusting God that with time I'll be able to, do things or to be more responsible in, like resource-wise and all. But how the help of God comes is really when you set things in motion. I've heard it time and time again from a lot of people where when they decided to get married, they received a lot of help. Not that they got married so that they would receive help, right? But when they put that level of intentionality and they started moving, checking places, doing all of that, that the help, came for them. And I realized it, that particular day for me, that everything that I'd set in motion for my music came to pass, or God brought helpers to it. And funnily enough, there are a lot of people that are just reaching out to me, and they're like, oh, Bingo, when you're working on this stuff, please let me know. I want to see how I can contribute and everything. I'm saying all of this to encourage us, Tyler, to encourage us that the help of God is truly available. But you need to take that first step. You would never know the realities of walking on water until you respond to the call of Jesus to walk on water. The one that calls you has made every resource available for you, but you would never ever experience it until you take that step. You'll never experience it until you take that step. The children of Israel never crossed the Red Sea until they approached it. Food was never multiplied until it was handed over to the Lord. There are certain things you would never experience until you take a step into experiencing them. We're mightily helped of the Lord, Tyler. And I know that sometimes our humanity may catch up with us. Our humanity may catch up with us. Some little uncertainties here and there, questions may arise, But ultimately, if you respond to God, you'd find out that the answers were already waiting at the other end of your yes. And I really just hope that it encourages you. I'm excited about it, and I'm excited on many fronts because my songs, the songs that the Lord has given me, they're really powerful songs and you'd really be blessed by them. But I'm also very excited because other people also get to become beneficiaries of my response to God to move. Do you understand? Working with other people, giving them I would say, leverage of my life too, because I know that at the end of the day, those connected with me will find out, who handled these projects, who did this, who did this. I really want them to, work on stuff like that, to open doors and all of that. And then people will be blessed by the songs, But I'm really excited about it. And I'm excited about the things that God will do through you when you respond. One big part of Dear Tyler for me is feedback. So I love to hear people's stories. Like, okay, tell me, I decided to handle this way because I heard it from Dear Tyler and this is the result that I got. I'm sure it's going to make me like the happiest guy in the world and everything. So if Dear Tyler is really blessing you, not just from the information that you receive, but then the results that you get because you responded to certain things that we did, please do well to share, right? You could share via any of the social media handles, right? On Facebook, Dear Tyler. You can check us on Instagram, Dear Tyler. You could send a message there, or you could send an email, deartyler@gmail.com, right? So wherever, you could just share the stories, and it just helps me to know that the words that I'm sharing are truly encouraging, right? But I want you to be confident in the God that is backing you, and I want you to be able to take those steps. I really want you to be able to take those steps, Tyler. I want you to take those steps and see what God is going to form out of your life. See what God is going to form out of your life. The helpers of your destiny just need a meeting point. And that meeting point is your moving forward in action to the things that the Lord has asked you to do. So I really do hope that this episode blessed you, right? So this is me signing out. Remember that I love you, I believe in you, and I'm always rooting for you. See you on Thursday.